Your new life begins with a new thought. Now, that's really easy to say, but there's a lot of nuance and subtlety about making that actually active in your life. Your new life begins with a new thought. And at New Thought Philadelphia, we believe that there is one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, and that we each are using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. Or, our new life begins with a new thought. And it's not the thoughts that we're having so much as it is the beliefs behind the thoughts. It's done unto you as you believe. So our job is to understand what it is that we believe, what it is that we are experiencing that shows what we must be believing, and what beliefs we need to change. Because if it's done unto you as you believe, then your life is a topographical map of your belief system. What we get to do is dive into what it is that we actually believe. Where did we come up with those ideas? Where did we start believing the things that we're believing? Some of them are things that we figured out ourselves. Others are things that we were taught as children, either in school or by our family. Other things are modeled by our culture. And some things have just been so obviously true for so long that we've never even questioned them. And all of those things are operative in creating our lives according to our beliefs. The first thing that we get to do when we want to change our life is to understand what brought us to this point now. From there, we're able to take the next step. Now, why does this work? Well, that's the whole idea behind the Unity teaching. When I say there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, that's not necessarily a religious statement. It could be spiritual, or it could be purely physics. Science says exactly the same thing that many spiritual traditions and religious practices say. In the story of the Big Bang, in the beginning, there is an infinitely small, infinitely dense singularity, that one impossibly dense structure that exploded in the Big Bang. And that process let it form everything in the known universe. All of the matter and all of the energy anywhere in the universe came from that one point. And because you and I both live and exist in this manifest universe, we can trace our lineage back to that singularity. That is us. We are that singularity expressed in a slightly different way. We're not all of it, but it's all of what we are. And so because we are participating in that same creative process that has gone from the singularity through all of the evolution, bringing everything that exists into being, we're participating in that creative process. And because we have consciousness, because we are able to think and set intentions, we can put in action that same creative law. In Scripture it says, in the beginning there was darkness and void, and God said, let there be light. And that's another way of describing exactly the same process as the Big Bang. And that process of creating by sharing of oneself is exactly the same process that we're using. We are tapping into the creative power that created everything and letting that create the next new experience of our lives. And when it's working, it's great. Your new life begins with a new thought. And your new life doesn't have to be limited by what's happened before. Your new life can be completely different. Principle is not bound by precedent. That means that the law is always operating, and it's not going to be held back because of something that you experienced last week or last year or a lifetime ago. Principle always works. Your new life begins with a new thought. Now, there are some spiritual practices that we get to go through, and I'll detail those later, on how we can move ourselves from the place where we are now to the place where we want to be.